teams are running out quick and fast, so points becomes important, and getting out of that relegation zone is going to be difficult for a number of teams.
Oh, it certainly is. So much to battle for a lot of the teams there. We are heading into the final third of the season, so there's this mad grapple for the points that are remaining. But taking a look at what transpired tonight, I mean, we really were treated. This was a battle.
We're talking commentary to say class is permanent, you know, and to showcase the class that Mamelodi Sundowns has. The goals that they score, the amount of time that they create for themselves. And I say create for themselves because, of course, you're trying to cancel them out. But they create so much space and time and the patience that they have. You look at how they attack certain spaces, the rotation of the ball, to switch it on from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, to still be able to get it into the box and get a goal. For me, it's pure class.
I think they have positions just to fill up the numbers, but their flexibility in how they play, it makes it difficult to really have a plan because, like we touched earlier, they didn't have out-and-out wingers, but they came in this game with three strikers, up-front strikers. They had Ribeiro, Reyners and Shalulile starting at the same time, so it makes planning very difficult because now you have ball players just playing in front of you. You've got Mokoena, and also this overlay, you can see how the game was open, and because the game becomes open, it allows for transitions like this. Because now look at Mohaila there doing the underlap, getting that cross in, Otadisa coming there, benefiting obviously from that rebound. But I think this game needed everything like we charged. I think one needs to give credit to SEKHUKHUNE also just for not giving up in this particular game.
Well, they put up a fight, and I think we've got to give them, they put up a fight. And sometimes you've got to do this, and I've always said, when Sundowns is attacking, there's always gaps that you can attack. You look at the cross comes from the right-hand side, goalkeeper doesn't convincingly clear it, and at the same time they get punished, but they respond as well. Quite quick to do that, to realize that they might be setting themselves into being put under pressure, and they punish mistakes. And that's what they're good at. This is punishing mistakes. The goalkeeper kind of comes out, doesn't get to the end of the ball, he gets punished for that.
And obviously coming off the bench now, that's where they needed to find solutions in the second half, because now, as a coach at times, they needed to manage the game and make sure that they refresh the squad. And the mistakes that were also committed by SEKHUKHUNE at the back again, Kufura getting there, just being in and around the balls, you know, he follows play, he doesn't give up, he makes sure that he's part of the play. Reyners was unfortunately there to trip, but that him falling allowed a player like Ribeiro to come in there just to get in behind the defense and punish them in the process.
The basics of defending team. You have three players that turns around and face their goals. And how do you then clear the ball when you're faced in that kind of situation? That creates a problem because that's how they make the mistake as well. And they got punished by this man. Yes.
You think there was a foul in there?
I don't think there was a foul, but I also think there was.
I would love for us to just look at that goal again from Ribeiro.
Do you think there was a foul?
I think there was a foul, but once again here, another team goal. Lucas just turns, presence of mind, takes a shot, and a beautiful goal there.
The question is who's marking who? Because the positioning of the SEKHUKHUNE defenders, and you have a Salas that comes in late into the box. Who's tracking who down? Who's passing responsibility at that crucial moment? Because that becomes crucial. Whether you're playing centre back, but you've got to be vocal, you've got to be communicating so early, you've got to be having all of that synchronized at certain points.
Yeah, and also just think from the desperation from SEKHUKHUNE to try and get back into the game, they allowed themselves to be so vulnerable at the back. They got stretched out. You know, I think this is what the coach was talking about, the complacency. Just being overconfident, clear your lines. And they play into danger. Makhalwa gets there, punishes the team. Now the whole picture of the game changes. Like coach was saying that he wanted to make some changes. And now when Makhalwa scores this goal, he just changes everything else for Sundowns.
The other thing is that you have a team, like you say, they want to play out. Do they have the capacity? Is that their game to be able to play out of those kind of areas? You're not a Sundowns team that be able to play out of those kind of areas. So there's nothing wrong in clearing your lines to regroup because you are being put under pressure. And I think for me, that's where some of the mistakes they got punished for, in terms of not clearing their lines to allow yourself to regroup.
Yeah, I think the particular one that I was talking about is the Magwala goal. I think that Sundowns could have dealt with it much better, and that is what coach was alluding to. Let's say because they became so overconfident, they became complacent in the process, and they lost the possession in such a critical phase of the game. You know, and Magwala benefited from just capturing that ball and making sure that he punishes them.
It's a game where on both sides they punish mistakes.
Yeah.
Because every mistake that you made, you got punished for it. And for me, it's a good sign, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned by being beaten by Sundowns, and you look at your position as SEKHUKHUNE where you are now. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned out of this particular game to know how to stay up in that position that you are in, that you've got to try and play it smart a lot of times, and you don't have to be fancy.
Well, let's take a look at the final stats from this encounter and what you read into these numbers, Jimmy.
Look, it was a very much of a balanced game. Yes, in terms of ball possession, you see 61-39 for SEKHUKHUNE. But in the balance of play, I think the tempo of the game does not really reflect that. It's purely because in between Sundowns trying to manage the possession, you actually realize that it tilted more towards them. But I think for me, it was a much balanced game.
I agree with you. Very balanced. But I guess Sundowns at some point knew how to control situations when they're leading. It just comes with experience and confidence, knowing, and you have a Mokoena that knows how to drop the tempo and to rotate the ball. It's the experience that they've gained. Against SEKHUKHUNE, of course, they've done well in terms of getting themselves to where they are. But there are times that they lacked in terms of controlling situation and bossing situations in certain areas.
Oh yeah, each and every single one of the encounters between these two sides have produced goals, and it was lovely as well to see three players tonight getting their first of the season. So what lies ahead? The coach was alluding to such a busy